once again, having said that, we will then go straight into the various presentations and the various products. This is how the score is going to be made. And the score is going to be based on, already the judges have looked at your written presentation, meaning that they already have an idea of what your project looked like. The written presentation amounts to 15 points. So I will, as they've looked at your work and they've already decided what to give you based on what they read. The PowerPoint presentations for today will have an introduction of 5 marks. The content will have 15 points. Whether you address the topic or not will get a 10 points. Creativity and innovation will have 15 points. The presentation style will also have 10 points. If you stick to time allotted to you, because each cohort will have 10 minutes to do presentation, that will also have 10 minutes. The recommendation will have 10 minutes, and whether or not you have a conclusion, which will also be 10 minutes. 10 points. So in total, the score from each judge will be tallied to, 100% score. And so at the end of the day, we will put all the scores from the judges together, and then we will be in a good position to know which team won for the day. And so the presentation order is going to be according to, because of the fairness, we believe that fairness must permeate in everything that we do. And so the cohorts actually voted among themselves who should present first and who should present afterwards. And so the conclusion was that the one with the majority of votes will be the one to present. And everything is ready and all the protocol have been observed. At this point in time, I want to go straight integrity. So team integrity, if you are ready, you are welcome to do your presentation.
So I'm Esther Lovia, and I'll be presenting on behalf of Team Integrity. So our topic is facilitating conflict resolutions in organizations, and areas emerging leaders and managers, should focus on. And I'd like us to pause for a few seconds, okay, and think back to a time when we actually had problems or issues with our members, with our work buddies. How did we go about resolving it? How did we go about dealing with that conflict? Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, our teammates, next slide. Next slide. Thank you. So for our presentation outline, we will be talking about understanding conflict resolution. We will touch on the types of conflicts. We are going to look at the benefits of conflict in organizations, the pros and cons. We will touch on the importance of addressing conflict in organizations, our conflict resolution strategies. Sorry guys. No battery, sorry. Conflict resolution strategies. We will talk about, for the conflict resolution strategies, we will be talking about the TKI mode of handling conflict, and then areas of focus for emerging leaders and managers, recommendations and conclusions. So before that, we would like to understand what conflict is all about. And next slide, please. And conflict has so many definitions, but as defined by Smiley, we'd say that it's a disagreement between two people, okay, that brings about hostility. They become hostile towards each other, and we'll say it's inevitable. Conflict is an inevitable part of human interactions, and so there's a need to not only manage it, but also resolve it. And mind you, there's like a slight difference between managing conflict and resolving conflict. Conflict management is kind of like a temporal moment or a temporal situation, you find solutions to either containing conflict or making sure that it doesn't spread. And resolution is basically finding ways to eliminate any form of conflict. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we have like various types of conflicts, but we're going to be touching on just four. We have our interpersonal conflict that deals with two individuals with different ideas and values. We are going to be talking about intrapersonal that deals with yourself, within oneself. We have intergroup that deals with teams working within an organization, and intragroup has to deal with different teams from different multicultural backgrounds that try to work together as a team. Next slide, please. Okay, so there are varying effects of conflicts, right? We have benefits and the positives and the negatives. We have conflicts leading to stress, anxiety, anger, and we have some types of conflicts that also lead to personal growth. It leads to productivity because people want to get the job done. They want their supervisors to be impressed with them. So they do more, they work better for the benefit of the organization. And then we are talking, when we mentioned next slide, please. Sorry. Okay. So importance of addressing conflict in organizations. There is a need to address conflict in organizations in order to create a conducive environment, okay, to facilitate more growth, to facilitate more, how do I call it? Positivity in the working environment. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is where our main topic is. It's about conflict resolution strategies. There are a lot of ways to resolve conflicts, but I'm going to touch on the three known strategies that have been proven to be helpful. And we have applying cultural intelligence. In order to solve a conflict, you need to know what type of conflict how to approach that conflict in order to ensure that it is completely resolved. And then the second one is using the TKI model. And the third one is focusing on communication and perception. And so we'll talk about using the TKI model. Next slide, please. Wait, that was it. Next slide, please. Okay, so cultural intelligence, like I said before, allows adaptation to different cultural situations and helps to interpret unfamiliar behaviors and situations. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the TKI method where he basically divided conflict into two levels, the high and the low level. We talked about assertiveness, where people feel like, okay, is this beneficial to me? And then the cooperativeness, where people feel like, okay, let me find ways and means so that we could resolve the conflict for everyone to be okay. Okay. And so when we take, we're going to take collaborating and avoiding. Collaborating, aka win-win situation, where we find ways to resolve a conflict to benefit all. Okay, it's not just about yourself. And then avoiding is when you decide, okay, there's conflict, let me just see how it goes. But then I like to know, between collaborating and avoiding, which one do you really think would be a good form of resolving conflict? And it has been proven that collaborating is like a best method for resolving conflict. Next slide, please. Okay, so in order for emerging leaders and managers, okay, to fully understand and know how to resolve conflicts, they must first possess the qualities of a great leader. They must be honest, they must have a good sense of communication skills, they must be empathetic. They must be empathetic. Yeah, and they also need to recognize the type of conflict. If you don't know the conflict, you wouldn't know how to solve it. You need to know the type of conflict to know what exactly, like what method to use to solve that conflict. Next slide, please. So recommendations for emerging leaders and managers. It is recommended that you approach conflict with a calm and focused manner. You do not use force or intimidation to get your point across to your employees. You only make things worse when you do that. You have to remain calm and focused. You also need to know the type of conflicts, then you know what to do. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'd like to conclude to say that conflict is a blessing in disguise. Okay, no matter the pros and the cons, it is still a blessing in disguise. You just need to know how to manage and how to resolve the conflict. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm shaking. I was nervous. I was shaking and I was like, oh, my.
Congratulations.
All right, so
Congratulations.
You've done extremely well. I can understand. When you are under air condition and you are still sweating, it's a learning path, and you have done very well.